Good.
Yes.
All right, I make a motion that we come out of executive session.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, let's move on to public input. Public in attendance will have up to 5 minutes to address the board. Please use the podium to address the board and be respectful of each other.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to address item 7H on tonight's agenda, the request to use a Chadbourne Field. And a previous select board meeting, there was some concern about whether or not the Babe Ruth Association would still be interested in using it. Tom mentioned the trees on my property. A young fellow down the road, Matt Sewell-Parent, came by and has been helping me cutting it up. And just so happens that his son is very much into baseball, got into conversation, and he's on the Babe Ruth board over in Sanford. So I asked him about the Chadbourne Field, and he essentially said they had no plans of using it anytime soon. I asked if that could be put in a letter. I got a copy of that from Matt today, gave a copy to Lindsay earlier this evening, and essentially they're saying that, again, they have no plans of using it, and they're very supportive of Mass Basic Little League using it to their benefit.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate that.
Anybody else?
Backpacks.
Roger that.
Just wondering, yeah. Where do you gonna jump in?
For what?
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about the.
Oh, I can, really quick. I can do that in public comment because I don't think I'm on
Right,
departments
I
this
didn't
time.
see anything. there.
Yeah,
Right.
so I can briefly talk about Bunganet Pond Committee. We went down again and did a nice walkabout. I did send notes to the board that were taken by Holly and Kevin whilst we were doing the walkabout with Missy, who knows kind of the waterfront DEP regulations and whatnot. And I don't know, I think Rusty, you were down there, and Vicky, you were down there, and you saw what the pines look like.
I didn't go down in.
Okay,
We just took the
yeah.
shed down.
So the committee feels there's no way, shape, or form that we could ever perform a cleanup right now until that stuff. It looks like a war zone. I mean, there's pines bigger than this. That it looks really nice on the side. The other half is missing, and it's on the ground. It's disastrous, and it would be dangerous, I think, for anyone to go in there and even attempt to try to clean up. Even if you know what you're doing with a chainsaw, it's pretty dangerous. I mean, it's unbelievable, the trees that are down in there. And then also talking to Missy, like there's a whole section of red pines
Red Ponds, there.
that were planted that should have been thinned out a long time ago. We should have had a forester down there thinning them out. There's so much damage in there. We have invasive honeysuckle that's popping up everywhere that needs to be taken out, and that can be taken out because you by root and be gone. So we are hoping to have a cleanup in the fall when hopefully the bigger mess is taken care of. Right now, I don't know if the pines is usable in any way, shape, or form, or how long it's going to take to get those trees. The biggest thing we found too is like it's still so boggy down there. So after Kevin on the committee took his drone and took pictures from above, it was really neat. So we got all that stuff together too. Basically, when you come down in the bog area, my understanding from speaking to people is it was supposed to be leveled up and done with a level when it was all done to begin with, and it wasn't, so it was left lower. It's basically at water level. So unless you bring fill in there and build it up, you're never going to be able to remediate that water and get it out of there no matter what you do.
Yep.
The other thing that we were able to talk about with Missy too is there's ways, that nice little trail that comes around is nice, but it's getting washed out. So she talked about catch basins for water and certain kind of remediation that can be put in there to get the water to go divert water dividers so we wouldn't have the washouts there. And the water diverters almost can be hidden in the woods. You wouldn't even see them. So Kevin was going to kind of sketch those out. So we're working with Rusty, and we're trying to develop we have like a wish list going in our heads. It's like a candy store sort of. We're trying to give a 10-year plan of what we're looking to do and what would be most beneficial to the town. Right now, the culvert at the front of the road, it's not built up enough, so the water's overflowing and coming down, and that's what's causing all that water damage in the parking lot that then contributes to the damage going down the trail that we would like to divert everyone to. We would like to plant a berm in front of the scary steps at the top with shrubs, and so it can be used for sledding during the winter for Parks and Rec. And then a nice sign that brings everyone around, so everyone safely can get down there. And it's not that big of a steep slope that you would have to worry about, incline. And another crazy idea off our heads, we did look at the shacks that are off to the left as you're walking down the hill. They were outhouses. That's what those tanks were. We actually thought about reviving them and seeing if those tanks were still holdable, and versus the porta potties being rented all the time, it's already there. The buildings would need some help. And Missy talked about that. There's a lot of camps and places that still have things like that are used. So it's just a thought the committee came up with. Again, we're going to lay this out all in a plan. It was a lot of information to go down there and see it all. And we never even got to get to the Y section, the other half, because we were just so blown away by what we were seeing for damage. On the other side, we did learn volleyball is a hot ticket. And if we actually got our little court there to the parameters for games, and you would just need 3 different hooks, games can be rented out at $350 a game. And I guess they're always looking for courts to play. And that's for the ones that are out there. And then high school is like $150 for high school games. And sometimes you'll have 6 games in one day. So this would be usable and rentable. And it'd be a great way for, again, to give back to the park. So these are little things we're looking at. We're have them all kind of in a pile of ideas because there's so much to do. But right now, so we're just overwhelmed by the damage and not really sure where the starting mark is. So we're hoping to funnel our ideas a little more straight. But, again, the damage is the biggest thing that's of concern, and in safety too. And like no one has gone through the sand pit for any more glass that may be in there and things like that. So that's,
So I didn't bring my machine down to Bunganut and get those
yeah,
things out because it's so wet.
it's so wet.
So I still can't get my trailer up.
Yeah.
That's how wet my yard is. Every time it starts dropping and I start getting excited, it rains. So
And well, if you try to go down there, you're gonna need to put some waders on because you're going in. So you're gonna get baptized fast. It's pretty wet on on the water there. So so it's we're still excited. We still see such a great thing to happen over there. There's stuff that got cleaned up on the field side. There was major overgrowth in the softball field. Thorns were going up through the bench, so people couldn't sit there. We didn't know, apparently. Parents were sitting in the field watching the games because the bench was so full of, so that's been taken care of. And so anyways, just stuff like that. But we're excited to see where we can go with this. And it's just going to take a lot of thought and ways to figure out how to get from A to B, because you can't get grants without certain things and getting from A to B. But we'll get it going.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right.
I know this isn't time for a back and forth. These are just 2 really quick things. One, did the town do the benches or did somebody else bring benches over there?
Graciously, I think the Snowmobile Club bought the benches.
We donated.
You donated, which is
So I just wanted to shout
Yes,
that
thank
out
you.
and say thank you, because it's a much nicer place for little children.
little
to sit.
people. Yeah, it's
And then
never
the
been
second
thing.
question that I had, do we treat for ticks over there?
Don't think so.
Okay, I think we need to consider it because I was just there for 10 minutes and
Oh, yeah.
There was probably 6 ticks between like 3 kids.
Oh gosh,
So it's just weird because it's not like we're in the woods, but at the same time, they just seem to
they're
be
bad this
everywhere over
year. They said they'd
So-
be bad. We didn't have a hard winter, so yeah. We did talk. We'd look at goats, but again, where we thought there was poison ivy, there isn't any. So
I don't know who would take care of goats. I just don't want to.
goats for they might get some of those. You could get guinea hens, and that'd be gross.
Mm.
So
Birds on the ground.
yeah,
Right?
the ticks
All right.
are
Sorry,
yeah.
I got us off track.
No, because the
Thank
kids would
you
roll
so
down the
much,
hill
Club.
every year and come up covered.
The city of Westbrook had goats that they rented from somewhere and used them on the bankings of the river. with the steep stuff that they couldn't do anything, and they did a really good job. So if there's ever that kind of discussion, reach out to the city of Westbrook, because they're
Awesome.
usually very easy to talk to, and they're willing to share information.
They help people in line, actually, make notes. You wouldn't
All right.
believe it, but-
Thanks for the benches.
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
The ticket booth goes in Wednesday. The new ticket booth, just FYI. Just throwing it out there.
We're setting the
Yep, tomorrow.
foundation tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yep.
The blocks
I
for
plan
the,
to spend a couple hours in the pines tomorrow with the chainsaw, so.
Oh, wait, so, hold on, that is part of our FEMA stuff,
The down tree, should I not cover?
all of it, so we have to like send an invoice, so Tom and I are actually gonna go down there and mark everything, because we're gonna hire someone to do it, and then we'll send that stuff so you get
And
reimbursed.
you shouldn't be done.
Oh,
Yeah,
You shouldn't be done the way it's
that's-
I mean, you can help
I
if you
wasn't
want, I
looking
just
at it, so-
wanna make sure we recruit, you know, we gotta like go through all this work to create this report to send to FEMA, and it's so much fun.
okay,
Sorry, I was a little off track.
so
So no to cutting trees down, cutting the ones that are down. Take photos. Just,
Let me
I got a
talk-
couple
let me
hours in the
talk with
morning.
Jeanette though, because this, I just am told that like, we had to create this report, we had to collect all this information, send it to FEMA, and now the next step is, because it's in my town manager report, I was gonna talk about, you know, we were validated, that we can move to the next step. But then after that, we gotta send them like updates, pictures, we gotta send them invoices, we gotta send them all the detailed information.
Correct.
And then they will reimburse, but if
So-
it's all volunteer stuff, I don't know,
right.
Let me
I
check.
think hold off for now,
Okay.
Yeah.
even though it's a very nice gesture, you know, and I would help too, but, I
Sure.
just don't have time right now.
Put a
There's a lot of,
Well, you
lot of
won't
the,
mind.
a lot of the trees that I have run into in my work cutting them from those storms, the damage is incredible, and they're not easy cuts. I mean, you can have one fling you, like, I wouldn't want to put volunteers in a position to be flung by a tree that's still got a load on it that you don't
Yeah.
recognize. Like, I don't know, how do you
Yeah.
judge
Yeah.
volunteerism? I mean, I'm good with a chainsaw, but they can mess me up too.
No, I think the risk factor is a good thing to bring up too, because I mean, we do with like our subcontractors, contractors and everything, we do that liability thing and, you know, make sure we cover CYA. Sorry, Rusty. I hate
No.
to- I'm sorry.
No,
Sounds
I,
like
To
you
find
want-
some
use the
trees
server.
here.
I don't wanna put the town's
What's that?
fanny
Sounds like you
out in
wanna
the
do
breeze.
the
Chainsaw.
Oh,
My
yeah,
driveway,
sure.
I got hit in the head.
Yeah.
There was a load when I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I thought it
Getting
took
in
me
my
out. I
driveway's
thought, I was seeing stars, so, and I do chainsaw too, and I'm.
It's not,
but
yeah,
it's
sure, so.
Scary,
Okay.
lots of work.
Anybody else? No? All right. All right, moving on to mail. The York County Sheriff's March report is in here. Let's see if there's longer online. I don't know if anybody ever gives these a read, but they're pretty interesting.
The newsletter was a little concerning. The insider, if you have opportunity to look at it on
They put a lot more detail in there than they normally do.
There's,
the
yeah,
drug bust,
the home
Right.
fraud, the
scams,
drug bust.
home repair fraud. And an Old Orchard Beach drug bust with a canine. But,
Yeah, that's,
yeah, most I've ever seen. It's pretty eye-opening, right in our backyard.
Is this available online? Is this it?
It's in the packet.
It's in- oh, yeah.
They just
So it's
keep
in,
it-
it's
probably on the
online
York-
there in the
It's probably
packet.
on the York County Sheriff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most likely. I was just
Definitely
curious, 'cause
Worth looking at.
they even use colored ink. Good.
I think we
yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
looked at
let's
this
see.
and I didn't,
use colored ink.
oh, okay, because I was looking at it on the computer.
I don't feel like they
I
dropped
don't
them off
remember
to
it
We
being in
won't-
color.
Oh, we can't do this because Amber's not here.
Oh, the minutes? No, we can't.
Sorry.
We'll have to wait till Amber's here to.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
So table it.
Sorry,
What,
Say sorry.
what are we
Minutes.
tabling?
The
minutes. we weren't here and Amber's not here, so we don't have.
Why weren't you guys here?
I was,
Hey, that,
That
minute-
was a
that meeting,
good-
that was a good meeting.
that
We
was
banged right through that.
On it.
Here we go.
all right, let's go on to item 4.
I saw
Oh.
that.
Excuse me.
All right.
payroll warrant number 41 in the amount of $28,094.15.
So moved.
I will second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Oh, that's a big one. All right, accounts payable warrant number 42 for year end 2024 in the amount of $772,906.61. Should have said that faster.
I'm
I'm gonna motion so that we can get to discussion.
gonna abstain from this one because I'm on it, because I'm getting
Yeah.
reimbursed for my construction debris.
Oh, okay.
No, I second.
All right. I just wanted to get to discussion because this is a big one and I just wanted to point out, I know it's online, but there's a large chunk for RSU 57. And then there's also some of the road work that we had just talked about earlier from the storm. So I just want to point out that some of the things on here are likely going to be reimbursed by FEMA, correct, Lindsay? Okay. So I just wanted to point that out, and that's like emergency trees and roads kind of stuff, so. I'm sharing that just because I had those questions, so.
Was this another installment for the Dayton? That was a good sized one too.
Snowplow.
Snow fighters,
Yep.
that was, that must have been one of their quarterly or whatever.
I think it's probably the last one of the
Last one.
season, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Oh, gosh. All right.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm very sorry, I should have mentioned it before, but you mentioned RSU 57, Jessica.
Yeah.
I do believe there's a public hearing at the middle school tomorrow night at 7 PM on the school budget.
All right, let's move on to item 5, franchise agreement updates, if any.
No, probably won't hear anything until July, but I just keep it on there so we don't forget about it.
That's the way to go.
This is-
All right. Moving on to item 6, department and committee reports. Fire chief has his all hands in here. 128 calls in the month of March. 69 from last year.
69 last year.
We had that,
I'm sure.
that storm, ice storm was,
Yeah.
Probably didn't help us, right?
yeah, didn't help.
Expense report is in here from the treasurer. It's just too much to read. All right, let's move on to item C,
Do you want me to
town
talk
manager's
about the
report.
town manager's report? Or
What's that, deal?
do you want me to talk about it?
Mhm.
Yes, please. If you,
You sure? Okay. Well, just because there's been a lot of things that have come up, so I might bounce around a little bit. Some updates like Kennybunk Pond, the landscaping improvements. So I have, been keeping in touch with the contractor out there. Everything is going according to its schedule. When we started this, we, put out notice to the public. It was going to be done in phases. So they're going to be working on it. I think later this week, they're going to start going and doing the hardscapes. And they had to wait until Maine DOT went out and did the guardrail because, if they did any work before the guardrail, they were likely going to have to go back and redo the work they just did. So it had to be guardrail first. We were kind of at the mercy of Maine DOT. Now that's all taken care of. They'll do the hardscapes. And then they told me that I think in the next week or two, the gate's going to get installed and they're going to do like a little apron paving by the gate, so that'll happen kind of around the same time. And then the plantings won't come in until June, just because they want to make sure that they survive. They have them all picked out, we're good, like, but they're gonna plant them in early, mid-June. So they anticipate they'll be done by the 21st, because that's when they talked to us when we hired them. They said they'd be done by June 21st. So they feel like they're right on schedule. They've gotten all their permits and everything required, and we've been keeping in communication. And I did put some stuff up on the website to let people know, and I can add this stuff out there too. The other thing was, a tree fell down in the boat ramp. So I'm working with Tom. We're gonna get a permit. We talked with DEP about what we can do to remove part of that tree. Because obviously if you've seen it there, it's like, if you launch a boat off, you're going into the tree. So we are gonna work on, DEP did give us the okay, we can move it, but we're gonna do the permit process and everything. So we'll hopefully get that taken care of soon. And then with the recent snowstorm and all the damage we had, I wanted to kind of, bring some light into that and the process. We've been working with the FEMA funding. So we did send our report into FEMA. We got that in, and we did get validation that's going to move to the next step. So, it's looking pretty good. Like, we'll get some funding and stuff, but there's more steps to the process. So we're working on it. And Bunganet Park, him and I are going to go out. We're going to mark some of the trees and look at what needs to come out. And I've been talking with YMCA, and we'll look at a couple different people we can get some quotes from and get the trees moved out and stuff like that. And that'll be part of the whole FEMA package as well, because we took a lot of pictures down there and added that to our report. I did put a big thank you out to Tom Croto, Rusty, and Vicky for helping us with that shed. I'm very grateful that you guys went out and volunteered your time for that. So
I only saw one mouse run away.
good.
One tenant
Oh,
left.
no. I'd like to see that video go on YouTube. I'm serious.
Okay.
Please.
Send it in.
And then yes,
was-
I'll definitely put it up there. And then, we know the personnel policy is done. We're good with that. I added that in there. Talk about employee recruitment. We have a couple of folks we'll appoint today. So I'm really excited to move forward in that direction. And then I threw in a few updates with just committees. I talked to the IT committee, so they're working on developing some stuff for like Bunganet Park to get cameras and stuff out there. Comprehensive plan. You guys are working on a couple different surveys, and the Bunganet Park, you gave us an update. Ordinance Review Committee, so far they got 94 signatures for their thing, so that'll be coming on one of your agendas to just kind of keep things moving forward in their timeline. They're doing really good. Cemetery Committee put out a nice list of all the ancient cemeteries, which I added to the website. And Parks and Recs has a Memorial Day parade coming up, and then we just started a pay portal online, which is very new. So we're just doing it with real estate and personal property taxes right now, but in the future, we'd like to see things like we can do other stuff with it, if it's dog registrations or donations and stuff like that. So
I have a question that kind of ties in with donations and the cemetery committee. There was the car that drove through the one on 111. It doesn't look like anything has been done, or is there still an ability to, what's going, do you know of anything that's
anyone
going on
can
with that?
still donate. So I think their marker, I want to say they were trying to raise like $1,200, but they've only got about 400.
Okay.
So they haven't, I think they had someone in mind that would help them do it, but it would cost, and I'm throwing $1,200 out there because I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was something around that number. And we did look into that the other day. Jeanette and I were looking at that, and I think they have about $400 to $500 so far. But you can still, anyone can still donate.
I'm not a fan of the contingency fund, but should we donate to it?
You can think about it.
I'm gonna donate some of my next check from the select board to it.
Great.
I do have one thing I forgot for,
For comp plan, our data from the state is finally done. So we finally got the link. I encourage anyone, there's too many rabbit holes when you get in there. It's fun. But it's really cool. And like Vicky was talking about the cemeteries, there's actually a map in there that has the pinpoint of all the 150 cemeteries in Lyman available online there too. Really great data, amazing data. It kind of blows your mind a little bit. So I think I forwarded the link to Lindsay, and I know I've posted it online, but I encourage anyone that wants to see the data for Lyman that's going to be used towards the comp plan to check it out. It's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
So that was it. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Nice report.
It's a good report.
Lots going on.
A plus.
Thanks.
Did you bring your stickers?
I did. I forgot the stickers. You know, I put them in my truck because I had them in my other truck. So I was gonna give Rusty one for helping me with it. You know, for doing the shed. Tom too. So
Gold stars.
which one? Gold stars.
You.
All right, let's,
I'm not gonna go that far, Tom. I understand, I understand.
Hey, he was there.
I leaned on a rake.
I gave it to you to you know.
he did put a rake in his hand. That's impressive. All right, let's move on to item number 7, new business, snowmobile and ATV club discussion regarding tenancy at will for ATV club.
That's you guys.
Let's,
So I did meet with Brian, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, Greg. And the ATV club wants to use the snowmobile club's building for the summer season or something like that. And, so we're just kind of wondering if it might make sense where we do a tenancy at will with the snowmobile club. Do you guys want to do just a tenancy at will the same way you did with them with the ATV club? And if you guys have questions, I mean, I would encourage you to kind of go over some of the plans and ideas and thoughts you have with that we talked about.
Yeah. We want to utilize the building for more than just snowmobile club. So they could use it for their meetings. I mean,
Makes sense.
get the ball rolling on using that property more.
Yeah, we just got removed from our clubhouse, which was the ranger station in Lyman. They told us we couldn't use that building anymore, so we're kind of homeless at the moment. So years ago, we had talked about combining clubs when we were not the presidents. We weren't at that position to make those decisions. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, come up.
Yeah, so you just can't hear you. Yeah, well, we can hear you, but YouTube.
Yeah.
Tubers.
Yeah, so like I said, we got kicked out of our meeting house. We had talked about in the past combining the 2 clubhouses together. Yeah, so we're just looking for a new place to live for our meetings. It's every second Tuesday of the month, and I think we have 3 months off in the wintertime. So, and we just started doing this year safety classes. So we're starting to do ATV safety courses for the state, or for our community. Nobody was doing it. So we had our first one, but we had to relocate to the Biddeford MacArthur Library. So we'd like to have something that we could do that as well.
Do you intend to have rides in and out?
No, so there's no trail system for the ATVs in that area.
That's what I
So
was
it's
curious
just going to be a place where we could have meetings and trainings.
So when you have trainings, you're gonna have a lot of people there. What are you gonna do for restroom facilities?
Restroom facilities, so either if we cannot get the bathrooms working, like regular bathrooms, we're gonna have to bring in porta potties. We bring in porta potties through our trail. Parker's Pond, we have a parking lot, so we have a porta potty there because we do cookouts there and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So we would do the same thing. We discussed it on one of our last couple meetings. We would set a porta potty on that site.
The goal would be eventually to hook the bathroom up and get it. I mean, we're close. Septic's in. Sure, we have to go through the whole permitting process again because it's been so long, I would assume.
So,
But
Do we need to get, this has to go through code enforcement for electrical, water hookup, or,
I think they already have electrical there, right?
Yeah.
well, remember when Marcelo was supposed to be going checking places and,
I mean, I can ask Becca or someone or one of the temps to do that.
Yeah.
I think the conversation I recall was for all town facilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing periodic, every 2-3 years
Yeah.
inspection.
And then insurance, there was an insurance question. So what would the town be looking for insurance? We kind of touched base on a commercial liability
Yeah,
for the property. I guess you kind of own the building, so we'd have to talk about that part too, or is that part
Yeah.
of it? So there's some insurance questions that we still
I
have.
think, would the ATV club be having joint tenancy with the snowmobile club? Being that this, because it's kind of convoluted because the
Right.
snowmobile club owns the building. So you would have to lease from them, but it also is, because it's on town property, that creates,
But we wouldn't be
Another
leasing it
issue.
because we wouldn't be charging
Well,
them anything to
subletting.
use it.
yeah.
subletting is what I was
Mhm.
thinking. Would they just piggyback on, since it's an
Right.
arrangement between these two clubs?
So our
Would it-
insurance says it's cleaner for both clubs to have insurance.
And we're fine with that too.
it's something that's run by Brad.
I'm just wondering about, the code, we have, what did you call it? You call the rental agreement
Tenancy at will.
tenancy
And
at will,
it's
so,
just, yeah, what the board did was they just made a motion to have a tenancy at will.
Right.
Yeah.
That was really, it was really informal. It wasn't really like anything in writing. And so, because legally it would just be like a verbal agreement.
So we don't need a whole new separate document for that
We don't have one.
now.
Now.
yeah, we
Right.
don't have one now.
Okay.
It would be
That
an
was-
agreement, like,
I just want to make sure that.
but I think Vicky makes a good point too. It's like, are you subletting? It's a weird.
It's, yeah, that's what I'm
thing.
like, it is, it's
But
kind of.
also like for the greater good. So it's like, I don't think it's a negative thing. I just
No,
think
it's
it's a
not.
weird logistical thing, like when you get into the weeds of insurance and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have classes there, I would definitely think you would,
Well,
Yeah.
the classes are covered by the state.
by
So
state.
that's a separate insurance. So those are actually already covered.
Okay.
It'd be for our members in that building on that property. That would be about it. And then I'm sure our membership would like to see some kind of a lease, so we don't do any extra work to the building, and then they're not gonna like the idea that we could lose the building in another month or two. So there's a little concern with that. So we were just wondering if maybe you would consider that 3-year lease at 5.
Right, but the building's not ours,
That
right?
we
The
did the land,
property, I should say.
Right.
we're the land, they're the building.
Yeah, and your report, this is about the land study, is that that included?
Right.
We've got foresters, they'll be conducting an assessment on all properties to help identify potential timber harvest areas, potential fire pond areas, and some other elements. Is that part of the whole thing? Of the land?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that is going forward,
Mhm.
so, that's why we did what we did.
Yep.
And when are you guys looking to use it's not right off, right? It's not till.
So as of next Tuesday is our last meeting.
Okay.
And we have officers' elections, and we're gonna discuss and a vote on where to go next.
Oh, right. And you wanted to see if this was even a option.
An option
Yeah.
to put on the,
Right.
on our agenda.
It hasn't even been voted on by the ATV membership yet, so.
Right, so, and I'm trying to sell it, really, because it's a building sitting there, and I'm pretty sure if as long as, we have a stable place, a local place for trainings, meeting place, we're not leaving town to have our meetings, it's just silly. Something sustainable, something we could store things in. Yeah, that's
I
kind of what
wouldn't
we're looking at.
necessarily say no, but I there's a lot of questions about it just because because of the land and building situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're meeting,
Yeah.
to get those little things squared away. What you guys would be looking for and move from there.
Has your snowmobile club voted on this?
Yeah, we're all for it. I mean, we'd like to see other town groups utilize it also.
Right.
Parks and Rec
Parks and
or
Recs or, yeah, something.
cemetery committee wanted to meet there or,
Because it's big enough too. It's like all our other places are kind of small. Like the fire stations, it's, it's only so big. So this is a little bit bigger for seating wise, because we had about 25 members our last meeting, which is a record for us. 25 is crazy since I've been in the club.
Yeah.
So we're already outgrown all the other options pretty much. We had standing room only when we were the last meeting at the ranger station. We had 4 people standing. Ran out of chairs.
and the only other concerns is the putting money into the building, but that can be a discussion for a different time. We don't want to put a bunch of money into the building if the land studies go through and the town decides to sell it. So that part has kind of been limbo. That's why we were talking porta potties, what it would take to finish the bathroom. I mean, it's close.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw it. It's close.
I can always, check with Brad, any questions you might have, like, I think like you said, you were just looking to see, is it even a viable, is it, would the board?
I don't have
agree
a
to it?
problem with it.
Yeah, I was just
If,
gonna
as
say.
long as the
Sure.
snowmobiles club is there
Mhm.
and it's their building, then
It's kind of
how they
up to
want to
them.
let people use it is, in a way, it's up to them. Of course, it's respectful that we have input in it, but,
Yeah,
I don't have a
just
problem
that
with it.
we're covered, that the town is covered by if they're required to have them have insurance or whatever type of insurance, but just no liability to.
Well,
That's
there'll
why
be-
they never, when I signed the lease originally, they didn't even want to charge us, the town didn't want to charge us $1 because they didn't want to have any liability. For, so that's the way back then. So I just talked to Brad and just see what's needed.
Well, I mean, they are gonna be putting like porta potties, it sounds like, on the town land part.
Yep.
Which people will be, people are gonna be going on the town land.
Yep.
So the certificate of liability, I think, is just like someone trips and falls.
Yep.
Outside.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with that. What do we need? What do you need from us?
Yeah.
Like a formal
I
motion or? I mean,
Wasn't,
it's just a
do you
weird.
wanna do a motion for a tenancy at will? Do you wanna just require that they do a certificate of liability? I'm honestly, it's new territory for me as well.
me
so
too, that's why I'm
just
going,
like-
there, what do we do?
So I'm just saying, so here's where I'm coming at it from, right? So it's the Snowmobile Club's building.
Mhm.
So from a town perspective, I think we just make a motion that, we're on board with the Snowmobile Club sharing their clubhouse with the ATV club.
Okay,
And then maybe you can check with Brad, and if he says, you should probably do something a little different than that, then we could, but.
and my only thing is, I don't think it'd be an issue, it's just that they're using the land as well. They're not
Right.
just using the building to some degree, like you have to park, you have to use a bathroom and stuff, so I would probably err on if you can get a certificate of liability or some sort of general insurance, just that it covers if something happens.
Yeah,
But otherwise, it's like, it's the snowmobile club's building
right.
Yeah.
that they're using.
Okay.
Wish I could
As
do
long
that.
as the motion-
Wonder-
I know, I'm just trying to get there in my head, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna make a motion.
Yeah.
But, what am I making a motion for, really? Like,
There isn't really
I'm a-
anything emotional.
I'm not really proving it, am I? Like, okay.
That the ATV club can use the town's
Yeah.
property?
So, yeah, I'm gonna make a motion
With insurance.
that the ATV club can utilize the town property located at the Snowmobile Club's building
It's 265
265 Williams Road.
Williams Road.
on 265 Williams Road, so long as they provide the town with a certificate of liability insurance. So, work for everyone.
Oh, I'll second.
I'm like, come on, don't leave me hanging here.
No, it was kind of neat.
All right, any more discussion on it?
Yeah, one thing, when you're saying you're using it, store things and what have you. And even though you don't have a lease per se, the lease did say, no wrecks, no, skeleton
So,
ATVs in the back.
The only thing that we would store would be t-shirts, clothing, and hats.
Oh, inside.
Paperwork.
But I mean, outside.
Nothing outside.
No,
There's absolutely
fuel,
nothing.
gas,
Nope.
good.
Nope, absolutely not.
Yep. All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for bearing with that motion, everyone.
Yes. All right,
This
let's
is an
move
easy
on
one.
to B.
Yeah.
Reappointment for Bunganuck Park Committee member.
So last meeting, we reappointed everyone. Everyone wanted to be reappointed. So we reappointed everyone. Yeah, we only had 3 people and Amber was going to abstain on this last one, so we could not do it. So I make a motion that we reappoint Michelle Felicetti to the Bunganuck Park Ad Hoc Committee for a term ending April 18th, 2025.
Second.
You want to do it?
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item C, committee application, Bunganuck Park Committee.
Just say that name. In my motion. I can say the name in the motion.
Sure.
Yes.
Make a motion that we appoint Melissa Sellaway to the Bunganuck Park Committee based on the town manager's recommendation,
The term ending?
with the term ending April 18th, 2025.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appoint code enforcement officer, building inspector, and plumbing inspector, 9/11 addressing.
I make the motion that we appoint Rebecca Thompson as code enforcement officer. And will be until June 30th, 2024.
Second that. Do we,
Do we have to
do we
do
do them
some?
all in
Yeah,
one motion?
So you do have to appoint a building inspector, plumbing inspector, and 911 addressing agent. And code enforcement officer.
Individually.
I think Vicky went to a nice training and I think the consensus was it's better that way.
Let's just do it.
Sorry. So there's one for CEO on the floor.
All right, so that was do we have a second on that?
I did.
Okay,
Vicky.
oh, that's right, Vicky. I wrote it down too. Discussion. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we appoint Rebecca Thompson as the 911 addressing agent for till June 30th, 24.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we appoint Rebecca Thompson as the building inspector till June 30th, 24.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I make a motion that we appoint Rebecca as the plumbing inspector till June 30th of 24.
Sorry. I thought I turned that off.
I'll
I
second
don't see any
that.
things.
Who seconded?
Rusty.
Any discussion?
It's a little too.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's good.
Yeah.
So the only thing I just want to share publicly is that Rebecca's an internal employee who's taking a step to take on something new, learn something, and really help the town. So I just hope that everyone will join us as a board and town manager in being supportive of her, because I see it as similar to the steps that Lori took as an admin clerk or select board clerk to step over to, thank you, assessing, which has just been a win for the town. So just wanted to share that with everyone.
I
So that it's out
concur.
there.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to item E, appoint administrative clerk. So we're gonna do all these.
Rebecca's
individually.
replacement.
Right. But is that all these things?
No,
Right.
Oh, I
No, it
didn't
is
give you
not.
one? Or did I just not?
We have,
wait a
we
minute, I'll
have it
show
with
it
a
to you.
person's name, but then it has all the stuff that was on the other one, which I don't think is.
Hello,
I
Lex.
just copied.
I think you replaced the name,
Sorry.
so I think we just do just this part.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's gonna be till June 30th, and yeah.
Okay.
Just for the top.
Okay.
And
Yep.
it's-
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we appoint Janice Osher as administrative clerk with her appointment being served until June 30th, 2024.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to F. Review and approve warrant for annual town meeting.
I make a motion that
Wait a
we,
minute, hold on. Sorry, wait a minute. So, Michelle had come to me about something.
So we met with Michaela from Southern Maine Planning. And we had reached out earlier for an estimate to see what it was going to cost Southern Maine Planning to help us out. The estimate we were given was being kind and not realistic. With LD 1976, that is a for sure thing that's happening. We were talked about, we had the choice of, we couldn't stay and do comp plan under the old rules, but LD 1976 is a done deal. We don't know when they would tell us we have to now abide by the new rules and change our comp plan. It could be 6 months after we finish the other one. So we voted as a committee to go full force and do LD 1976 and follow those rules. It was also told to us it would be a benefit to us because going in kind of the maiden voyage, they'd be a little more lenient with us as we went through the process. Our committee is still going to do a lot of legwork. We plan on doing all the public meetings. But the number we were given was $30,000 when I think we were quoted
I thought it was 10,000.
like 10,000.
No, I thought, we were quoted like 3,000. I thought you guys were given.
10,000 per year, and they're figuring it was 30,000. Yeah, it was 10,000 per year. It's going to take 3 years potentially to get this all done. It's that massive. It's that huge. And then that also impacts ordinance because they really can't move forward with the new guys. We're under the new rules without getting this done and getting this done correctly because it is one heck of a beast when you get in there and start looking at everything. Our committee is dedicated to working as hard as we can to save the money to the town. Like they told us 30,000. Michaela says, if we can do the public meetings as our board, that takes money out of that figure. If there's research we can do that takes it off that platter, we're going to do it. So 30,000 is the realistic number. Like if there wasn't help.
I have a recommendation to resolve that.
Yeah,
without
because
having to
I think we
add-
only had how much on the,
So in elections, like not knowing, how things are gonna pan out, I think I've only used like $3,500 for the election supply budget, and we budget 14,000. I still gotta get ballots for ES and S for June, which will probably be, that might add another 2,000 to 3,000, depending, waiting for them to finalize that stuff. But I don't see us using $14,000 for elections. I think it would be okay to take 7,000 off that line and then add 7,000 to the 3,000.
and we plan on coming back next year to ask for another 10,000. That's what we talked to Southern Maine Planning about is 10,000 this year, 10,000 next year. And then if we need the last 10 or whatever amount we need to finish up. And so they were good as long as they knew we were going to be able to kind of dedicate to that. So I think we had only during budget season put 3,000 in the line item for comp plan. And I think it was comp and ORC potentially. Okay, it was separate. So it was just the comp plan.
So if we did that, what you're suggesting,
Mm.
it doesn't change this draft that we just had a public hearing on at all, whereas it would if we, correct me, right? Where if we decided to go with 10,000 and change the number at this time, we just had a public hearing.
We're just moving from
That's-
one.
I understand, but I'm trying to clarify that I feel like I don't feel comfortable with that. I do like your idea. I mean, if the money's there,
Yeah, see, we
to be able
would,
to,
I can't take out of the election line and spend it on the comp plan committee.
Unless
We'd
it goes-
have to motion
We'd have
it.
to do a
You
special
have to
town
change
meeting.
your warrant, and then the budget committee would have to put their records, so we'd have to take those two warrant articles they fall on, you guys redo your recommendations on it, and we change the warrant, we'd have to do it all before May
So-
20th.
Pause for a second though, right? And this is just my brain talking out loud. The board went through the budget committee went through the budget, and this we just did a public hearing on. And I'm not disagreeing that it's gonna cost more money, obviously, everything does right now. But I don't feel good finagling anything right now.
That's my bad because I didn't know I was supposed to speak up. I thought this had all been kind of taken. This has been, I was in Chicago at an exam. I've had a lot in my own.
No, I get.
So my
I'm
apologies for not mentioning at the
I'm
hearing.
absolutely not blaming anybody. I'm
Yeah.
not. No.
No,
I'm
agree.
just saying right now, this is out there, like ready to go, and I feel like this is something that then we get into next year, and if we know we're not going to spend that money in budget, isn't that something where we can always have one of the special meetings and
That was
say,
gonna be my
move
next
this
Mm.
to that?
Yeah.
I like that
recommendation,
idea
is you
better.
can
that's
also
what
do
I
a
like
special
better.
Yep.
too.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
think
good
that would be
Yep.
cleaner.
Yep. So whatever way you guys want to do it, I
That's
just want to let you know, we're going to have, we're going to need
Sorry,
funding.
I just didn't let you get there.
I don't disagree with that,
Yeah.
that you're gonna need more funding,
Yeah.
but I feel like the last thing I wanna do is like, we just went through all this.
Right.
And we're not gonna fix it before the 20th, so
No.
Right.
let's find another way.
Yeah.
And they're not going to even be able to get started with us until another month and a half down the road because they're so busy anyway. So it kind of will work out timing. We have 3,000 right now when
Right, if
approved.
everything
to work
passes, you
with.
have something.
We have something to start with,
so-
and then by then we can come to you and ask for the other 7,000 for this year. With
Okay,
afterwards.
I like.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
keep your surprises over there next time.
Yeah, right.
Surprise.
I'll
Turn 'em
wait
up.
for cupcake, right?
I wanted to get that up there.
Yes,
We
thank
have
you. I thought.
voted
I mean, I
to
appreciate the info as a heads up.
We haven't voted
Yeah.
the warrant yet.
I do too.
Okay,
I
so
don't wanna go
what are we doing?
Sorry.
So we're back to F.
We're back to F.
Yes, review and approve warrant for annual town meeting.
I make a motion that we approve this as written.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
He's always great. Review and approve poll permit. He's probably already in.
I feel like this is the same one.
It's a different one. I spoke with.
How many polls are going over there?
Well, so we used to have it designated to the CEO. So you guys can designate, it's the municipal officers that sign it or whoever they designate as the official that signs off on it. So just food for thought going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't, I mean, it's an easy thing. It's just, I feel like we're literally looking at the same thing every time, but,
Well,
Nice drawing.
it's a standard form, that's why.
no, but it's the same name, it's the same location. Like, the same intersection, I should say, right? So see how there's 3 here? And now they're like, oh, let's put one
Yeah.
over here.
Well, yeah,
Anyway, sorry. Take down my little house. Same place. Same
Okay,
place.
okay, yeah. Oh, that,
Yeah.
This one's for Guyan.
it doesn't surprise me with any polls, they get wiped out one storm.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve the pro permit date application dated March 4th, 2024 at the intersection of Shaker Hill Road.
Second.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No poll for you. All right, moving on. Field use request form for Chadbourne Field for Massabesic Little League.
So based on the information we just got earlier today, I make a motion that we approve the field use request from Massabesic Little League to utilize Chadbourne Field.
Second it.
Field in town. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion that we table aye until the next meeting.
I can second that.
Reason?
I didn't review that stuff as well as I would have liked, and I was more interested in reviewing when we got all that information in advance, like I reviewed the stuff for tonight's meeting, and I didn't get to that again.
Perfect.
And that's.
Thank you. Yep.
Are we on I?
Hmm?
We're on I, right?
Yeah, we're tabling it.
You want to
Well,
table it?
Well,
we
we
moved
have a
and
motion
seconded
and a
it.
second.
We got to vote on it.
All in
So-
favor?
Oh, okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Any others?
Other, I don't know, we just approved this warrant for town meeting. And some of the best town meetings that I ever participated in the past were ones when, we were very well prepared to be able to answer questions, any question that would pop up on the public. I'm wondering if anybody would be in favor of having a workshop to go over it and see if we think, or think about before to the next meeting, if there's anything potentially that you think is gonna be something that could be perceived as, a hot button topic. Because you never know which one it's gonna be. There's usually one, at least, but I wanna be prepared to answer questions of the public because, I feel like they come to town meeting too, we've done this work, that we should have explanations for anything. I don't see anything that flies off. I mean, I know I had a question today about number 7, and I got it rectified because the wording has changed. Things like that. The wording changed the name of the account.
Yeah.
And things like that. So I don't see anything potentially that's harmful. I do like that we're asking the people to decide the fire department warrant either way. So I don't know if it's necessary or not. It was something that crossed my mind, and I didn't know how anybody else would feel about it. I want to be transparent with the people. And I feel like we are, but
I mean, I'm not against it, but I'm the same way. I haven't seen anything that's a real hot button controversial. I do know that it's nice that we vote in Jeanette to be able to speak because it usually comes down to finances and,
Yeah.
and it was that when you and I, we had talked one time that one disastrous one when she wasn't speaking, I was in the audience and was like, she was hurting. And, she had problems. And it was like, but when she speaks there, when people ask questions, she has the answers. It brings everything down. So
great, and that's important, I think.
Yeah. Very important.
While you guys are talking about that, I have to go check something on the poll permit, so like before you adjourn or move forward or anything, can you just keep doing your conversation, I'll be back in a
I have one more. I have another.
Another?
I have another other.
I think if we can, just based on
Another
what you
item?
just said, because I don't want to totally ignore it, I think if we can all just take a look at this and see, and then maybe next meeting we could say,
Yep.
hey, we really should get,
Yeah, we can put it on
Be
the
on the same
agenda
page.
anyway and see if anybody has anything.
Yeah.
That works for me. Are we signing things as we go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion, sometimes when there's a vote where the budget committee differed, I don't think we did this year,
There was one, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
differs with the select board, it's nice sometimes like to be able to let the budget committee explain why they voted differently. I know in the past, sometimes that might have made a difference for people. They're like, well, I didn't know that. And it's like, again, sometimes we
yeah,
think
it's hard to watch
differently.
every workshop. And
Yeah, so just if there be a potential for the budget committee to be able to maybe, if anyone asks why, we'd be able to speak and say why we differed.
Yeah.
If there was, did we have anything we differed on?
I think there
capital
was one.
improvement.
There was just
Yeah.
one? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, just one. So it'd just be nice to say why we, like maybe the
Well,
research we did and how we
It'll
got there.
Probably come up as a question.
Yeah.
Usually does on
Yeah.
the floor. That's the kind of thing I'm
Yeah.
talking about, like potentially.
Well, and the other thing that has come up every year, every year, not 1 year, but the years before that, is which roads, right? When we
Yeah.
get to the roads budget, it's always like, which ones?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
and I think that's actually on the paper somewhere.
Yeah, Jeanette put it, it's actually in the.
Yeah,
Wait,
she
did
put
you
it,
come back, or-
she's, because of, I think,
I got-
this whole thing process wise, I think that she has,
It's been-
put more detail into it over the past few years than ever. And I think that alleviates some of the,
Yeah, I think they're listed in the budget right underneath, right?
They are, it's just, sometimes it's just a matter of following along,
Yeah.
knowing where we're at. Oh, not the same spot.
My one other, my favorite subject, social media. Again, which I was contacted as a select board member and questioning committees, elected officials out there that are questioning the legalities of what the Kennebunk Pond is doing, committee is doing, if we have DEP permits and throwing stuff out there. I know freedom of speech and all that, but I'm just having to defend the town where these people don't really need to be, if they have a question, come see Lindsay and ask, do we have DEP, permission, permits? And to be on there, two elected officials to be out there and saying, oh, well, I don't think they have them. Well, what's the DEP gonna think about that? It's just not good light on the town.
well,
And
she just said during the public part of this meeting that they did have all those permits. and
I
stuff.
know,
I think we should not even question, talk about, pay attention to, or anything. That's not town business. That's people talking.
I understand that, but that's town people coming to a select board person and asking the questions. That's not me, I'm not on it. I'm not on them. But they come to me and and I just think, and people are gonna talk, I get that. It's
But-
elected
So,
officials.
so you refer them
I
to the
prefer-
town manager. That's what
But it's,
is that what you want? You ask, I say
Well, and-
sometimes people need to come see me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
I just think it's poor form for an elected official to be doing that.
But I think
That's-
some of that
Why do we
is
sign
just,
these?
so, you don't sign that one, sorry.
okay.
I think it's just one of those things, and Lindsay and I had a conversation, so I had a resident come to me and ask me a question, and I pointed them back to her, and I got information from her, and that never hit anywhere. And that person was like, oh, I'm so sorry to bother you, and I said, no, that's the way
Yeah.
it's supposed to be. So I think it might, if nothing more, just be a reminder to all committees, and maybe it comes from the town manager, I don't know
Yeah,
which is
maybe-
appropriate for it to come from, is, hey, if anybody has questions, before we just, go on blast either online or out out and about, feel free to send people my way. That's what I'm here for. And I think the more we regurgitate that and the more it's out there, then that stuff starts to improve.
True.
I have an other whenever you're next.
I'm done.
So you kept saying the poll permit was the same one and somehow an old one got mixed in. So this is the one you're supposed to sign. Sorry, you're
Oh,
gonna
well.
have to do that one.
So.
She got it.
Good catch.
Wow. Yeah, that
I
was a
didn't
good
catch it on
catch.
purpose. It's just the same person, right? And the same place.
And I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh,
But that one I
Look at
thought
this
was
is
the
a whole
guy
different
wire for
place.
that.
no. Look at that. I'm on it for a Monday and I didn't
So
even
what
know
did it? Was it the date?
The location.
The location.
Look at
No.
that.
I didn't know what
No,
clicked.
this is a different one.
All right. So I just have to make a motion for this, right?
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion that we approve the poll permit date application dated March 18th, 2024 at the intersection of Swan Shores Drive and Clark's Woods Road.
You second that?
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Plenty polls.
Good save, Lynn.
And then, like I said, if you guys want to designate that to like the CEO or someone, you can.
I think we should,
You guys want to do that?
Yeah.
because, I mean, ultimately, that kind of fits in their wheelhouse anyway.
You know, they'll know more about it than I do, probably.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. I mean, I can put it on the next agenda, you can make a motion, or you can make a motion, I don't care, but I would formally designate them, so it's just on record.
Yeah.
Put it on for next time. Yes. I took out the old one.
Yeah.
All right. Got a motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Oh, it's
Any
nice.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All
You were
right.
just so excited to second a motion.
Well, I never did good. And all of a
I-
sudden I was like,
you
yeah,
know?
can. So I'm like, okay.
I had to last
Dinner.
time without you guys.
Is it dinner?